I'm Holly from hollygrace.ca and you're watching Hometalk.
To begin my project, I'm going to start with this styrofoam plastic pumpkin from my local dollar store, and I'm going to rip off the stem. And then I'm going to take this orange canvas-like material that I just had left over from another project, and I'm going to wrap up my pumpkin. So I'm going to cut a square that covers the entire pumpkin, and I'm just going to begin hot gluing and wrapping the pumpkin. So I want to bring one corner up diagonally and then bring the other corner across diagonally, and then I will wrap around my sides. It really doesn't matter how perfect this looks because it's all going to get covered anyways. So I ended up with like these little ears sticking out on the side. I'm just going to push those in and then glue them. So I just take my finger, stick it in, and glue that fabric over top. With that all glued, I'm going to begin making my hat. So to make my hat, I'm going to take this styrofoam cone and I am going to cut it just where the tip starts, and I'm going to cut that off, and then I have a little part of like a top hat. I do want to cut out a circle for the top first, so I'm just going to trace around on some black canvas fabric, and then I'm going to cut that out. And then I'm going to cut a long piece that is going to wrap all around the sides. So I want to make sure that I leave just about a 1/2 inch edging there. So I'm going to start there and roll around my cone to make sure I have enough fabric to cover, and then I'm going to cut that, and then I'm going to hot glue that around the sides of my styrofoam cone. With that all glued in place, then I'm going to take the top pieces and I'm going to glue around the top, and I'm going to fold that in. This is just so we have a nice edge when we glue our circle on the top of our hat. So I'm going to add the glue to the circle that we cut out, and then I'm going to just place that right over top. And then I'm going to take a T-plate. I'm just going to trace out another circle, and I'm going to cut out, this is going to be for the brim of our hat. I do need to cut 2 circles because the bottom of my fabric is not black. I'm just going to cut out 2 and glue them together. Then I'm going to take a barbecue skewer with a pointy end, and I'm going to cut a slit in the middle of the brim of my hat, and I'm going to push the barbecue skewer through and then poke the top hat portion of our hat onto the stick as well. And this makes the form of our hat here. I'm going to take some fancy orange ribbon and I'm going to wrap it around the edge of my hat here just to create a little decorative finish. And then as well, I am going to take some gold Christmas ribbon and I'm going to cut out a square and I'm going to glue that on as well. I'm then going to take a piece of faux fur and I'm going to cut it to fit on the body of my gnome. I want to make sure that I cut the faux fur from the back side so that I don't wreck the fibers of the fur. With my fur cut out, I'm going to put my hat in place first so I know where to glue on my fur, and then I'm going to secure the fur beard in place just under the brim of the hat. I can even work it in underneath of the fabric. Then I'm going to take a wooden bead for the nose, glue that in place. I do want to hold that so that the glue has a chance to set. And then I cut out an extra U-shaped piece of fur and I work that under the nose as a little mustache and to add some fullness to the beard. Once I've glued that in place, I'm just going to add a little glue under the hat as well to secure it to the nose. Then I'm going to take this feather garland here and I'm going to cut off a piece that is the size of the back of my gnome, and then I'm going to glue that in place. I also picked up these realistic looking turkey feathers to add some depth and dimension to our gnome and give him that more real feel and less cartoony feather feel. So I'm just going to add some glue to the bottoms of those and stick those in place in front of the feather garland. And then with that, our turkey gnome is complete. I think this project turned out so cute. It is the most adorable turkey gnome I have seen, and it just adds that adorable touch to either your Thanksgiving display or maybe even your Thanksgiving table. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode on Home Talk, and we'll see you on another video.